Some folks think they're untouchable when they're running the show, but they never expect a mailbox to fight back. For weeks, my poor mailbox out front was getting flattened like it had a personal vendetta against someone's bumper. No note, no sorry, just tire tracks and pure HOA spite. So, I grabbed my welding torch, a little ingenuity, and a whole lot of attitude. Let's just say the next mailbox wasn't going down without a brawl. Drop a comment and tell me where you're reading from. This story might make you check how tough your own mailbox really is. I'm Lucas Bennett, and a year ago, I traded city chaos for 10 acres of freedom in Willow Bend, Montana. After 20 years fixing heavy machinery, think factory presses and solar rigs across the Northwest, I was done with nosy neighbors and landlords who'd lose their minds over a scuff on the wall. I wanted wide skies, silence, and space to tinker without a permit. My new place was a dream. Rolling hills, a weathered barn straight out of a cowboy flick, and a view that made you forget the world existed. The house needed work, the fences were sagging, but I loved it. I'm a hands-on guy. Give me a wrench and a problem, and I'm happy. But there was a catch I missed when I signed the deed. My ranch butted up against Crestview Estates, the kind of HOA-run suburb where conformity is king. My land, with its wild grass and rusty gates, was a rebel yell next to their cookie-cutter lawns and identical beige houses. And that drove Deborah Klein, the HOA's iron-fisted president, absolutely nuts. She'd been ruling Crestview for 5 years, a former county clerk who treated the neighborhood like her personal fiefdom. I learned later she'd bullied 3 families into selling just because their hedges weren't regulation. The trouble started when my mailbox got smashed. I was out back, reinforcing a chicken coop, when a crash echoed from the road, followed by screeching tires. By the time I reached the front, my metal mailbox was a crumpled mess, letters scattered like confetti, and tire marks pointed straight to Crestview. I chalked it up to a joyriding kid or a drunk driver. Rural roads see weird stuff. I cleaned up, bought a new mailbox, and moved on. But a week later, same deal, another wreck, same tracks, no witnesses. That's when I got suspicious. 2 accidents in 7 days? No way. I slapped a $40 trail cam on a fence post, aimed it at the mailbox, and waited. Sure enough, a week later, the cam caught everything. A silver Lexus rolled up, slowed, then gunned it, plowing into my mailbox like it was personal. The driver backed up, hit it again for good measure, then stepped out to admire the carnage. A woman, mid-40s, in a blazer on a Saturday morning, with a smug grin like she just won a war. I zoomed in on the footage and cross-checked it with Crestview's HOA website. There she was, Deborah Klein, HOA president, smiling in a headshot like butter wouldn't melt in her mouth. This wasn't some random vandal, it was a calculated attack by the neighborhood's top dog. I figured I'd try talking sense into her. I'm not big on fights. I'd rather fix a busted engine than argue. So, I hiked over to Crestview, her house a shrine to perfection, manicured lawn, pristine driveway, flowers and military rows. I rang the bell, ready to show her the footage and work it out like adults. When she answered, cool as ice in another blazer, I introduced myself. Lucas Bennett, from the ranch next door. Got a problem with my mailbox? Your Lexus keeps hitting it. I've got video. I held up my phone, expecting embarrassment or an apology. Instead, she stared me down, not a flicker of guilt. Mr. Bennett, I removed your mailbox myself. It's an eyesore, dragging down our property values. Your whole ranch is a blight. I blinked, stunned by her nerve. You're admitting you vandalized my property? She handed me a binder, thick as a phone book, with tabs labeled grass violations, fence issues, escalation plan. Your property has 52 violations: tall grass, misaligned fences, non-compliant paint. I've been lenient, but my patience has limits. Flipping through, I saw photos of my land, some taken from inside my fence line. She'd been trespassing, stalking my property like a spy. This is harassment, I said, shoving the binder back. I could press charges. Her smile was pure venom. I know the law, Mr. Bennett. I've got friends in the sheriff's office. Relocate, or this gets worse. She shut the door in my face. That night, staring at her binder, I knew this wasn't about a mailbox. Deborah wanted me gone, and she'd done this before. But she didn't know who she was messing with. I fix things for a living, and I wasn't running. The next morning, the harassment kicked into overdrive. A letter was taped to my door, citing my grass at 4 inches, a quarter inch over some ancient county rule. I called the county clerk. Nobody'd enforced it in decades, but it was real. I mowed, measuring like a lunatic. Next day, another letter. My porch light was too bright. Then my gate was off angle. Deborah's Lexus cruised by daily at 6 a.m., snapping photos, measuring with a laser. I was living in a bureaucratic nightmare, jumping through hoops to dodge her fines. A week later, Sheriff's Deputy Mike Larson showed up, looking beat. "Lucas, got complaints about your place noise, suspicious activity. It's Deborah, isn't it?" He sighed. "We went to high school together. She's intense, but not breaking laws yet." Without threats or damage, my hands are tied. The final straw was 3 letters in one day, gravel too coarse, mailbox post too short, and a photo of my barn's hay bales, taken from my land. She was sneaking onto my property. That's when I decided to build a mailbox she couldn't touch. I dove into county mailbox rules. They required structural soundness and weather resistance, but didn't cap how tough it could be. Perfect. My garage became a war room. I designed a beast, a steel beam sunk in concrete, wrapped in pine to look rustic, topped with a mailbox that seemed standard but had a steel core packed with cement. It looked like any rural box but could take a tank hit. I built it in plain sight, waving at Deborah's Lexus as she spied. 3 days after it was up, I heard a crash that rattled my windows. I ran out to find her Lexus, hood crumpled, steaming like a dying dragon. My mailbox? Not a scratch. Deborah stumbled out, dazed, airbag dust on her blazer. "Need a tow, MS. Klein." I called, biting back a grin. She glared, climbed into her wreck, and limped off, leaking oil. I thought that'd slow her down, but Deborah went feral. Letters kept coming, and she added a megaphone, blaring at 5:30 a.m. "Lucas Bennett's ranch violates fence codes and harbors non-compliant structures." Kids woke up crying. Neighbors grumbled, but she stayed just legal. Deputy Mike came back. "She's unhinged, Lucas, but I can't arrest her for yelling. Watch yourself." Then her megaphone issued an ultimatum: remove the mailbox in 48 hours or face community action. Game on. I built Mailbox too. Same look, but with HD cameras, motion sensors, and a paint bomb biodegradable orange, triggered by impacts over 20 miles per hour. I tested it obsessively, making sure it wouldn't splash the mailman. Deborah's Lexus circled as I worked, her camera clicking. She was walking into my trap. Tuesday morning, the sensors pinged. I watched live as her Lexus charged at 45 miles per hour, slamming the mailbox. The paint bomb erupted, dousing her car in neon orange roof, windows, tires, all of it. She swerved, blind, circling like a drunk before stopping. She stepped out, drenched, orange dripping from her hair, screaming about her HOA authority to remove violations. My cameras caught every word. Kids across the street laughed. Neighbors filmed. Deputy Mike rolled up, shaking his head. "Deborah, you're done." Her confession vandalism under fake authority was airtight. Word of the orange Lexus incident spread like wildfire. Neighbors called, fed up with Deborah's reign. An emergency HOA meeting was set, and they begged me to bring the footage. The community center was packed, standing room only. Deborah sat up front, orange streaks in her hair, looking like she'd rather vanish. I played the video, her attack, the paint explosion, her rant. Silence, then outrage. Residents unloaded her threats, her fines, her bullying. The vote was unanimous. Deborah was out. They apologized to me, promised to scrub her unfair citations. She slunk out, silent, her power gone. 2 weeks later, her house hit the market. The realtor said she'd fled to Billings, too humiliated to stay. Kids called her place the Orange House. Deputy Mike stopped by, coffee in hand. "Lucas, I've seen folks lose it over power, but a mailbox?" She tanked her life over a mailbox. Now, my ranch is peaceful again. The mailbox stands, a local legend with faint orange stains. Tourists snap selfies with it. I'm thinking of a plaque. Willow Bin's Indestructible Mailbox, 2024. I got an email from a guy in Idaho, battling his HOA over a shed. He wants my help. I might start a side gig mailbox defense company, building traps for petty tyrants. So what do you think? Was I a genius for outsmarting Deborah or a jerk for escalating with paint bombs? Should HOAs have power to enforce aesthetics, or is that a slippery slope to tyranny? Did Deborah deserve her fall, or was she just enforcing rules she believed in? Comment below, hit like if you're team Mailbox, and subscribe for more tales of sticking it to the system.